Hello and welcome to the Busy Bug Homestead. So today I'm going to be doing my winter sowing. We actually have a day that is not ridiculously windy. I've had a lot of wind lately and I try to not do this in the garage because it just makes a massive mess and it's easier to do outside. It doesn't make a massive mess for most people. I'm just really messy with the soil. So I'm going to be doing my winter sowing today. I'm going to start, I have 2 of these containers like I've been doing with my other seeds. I've sectioned them off and I'm going to just kind of go through them. Now the first one I believe I think they're all flowers. I'm pretty sure they're all flowers. But I'm just gonna do a couple in each video so I have a way to look back and see what I did where. So we are gonna get started. I have my seeds. I've got my containers behind me. You can see all my containers. I didn't fill the soil up as high this year because last year I noticed I didn't even utilize all that soil and it just kind of felt wasteful. This year I will have space to pot them up and put them under row covers, plastic row covers, if they get too big for their containers. But we tend to get spring for like a couple of days and then all of a sudden summer. So I think we'll be fine. And then I have some plant tags. These are bamboo stakes I'm going to be sticking in there, and a Sharpie, some tape, and my water. So let's get started with our first round of winter sowing. All right, so first up, I have a lot of these containers because I do not put the well water that we use on this property into my coffee maker. So I buy these jugs of water for $1 for my coffee maker. I have gone through 2 coffee makers because of hard water, and I'm sure there's a way to get it out. I just am struggling with it. So I just switched over to this, but I recycle all these. I will save all these. I will use them for next year. And every year I seem to do more and more winter sowing. So it's been working out. So for my first container, I think I'm going to do the stock seeds because I said in a couple of our other videos, I'm starting stock in the winter sowing containers. So I have my stock seeds that I planted inside. I'm just going to do a container of them for winter sowing also. And I put my stakes inside as well as right on the outside just in case, because the first year I did this, I lost all of my information and I couldn't figure out what was what until it started blooming. Now, unlike inside, I'm also going to write the date I start these because I'm keeping log of everything inside on a chart, but I'm not for my winter sowing. I didn't bring my pencil outside, but I do know that these go out 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to kind of make some little indents with my marker in here, pop some in here. I'm only doing 1 container because I did start some inside. But I am determined to see these stock because, like I said, last year I got them in the ground too late and they just did not like the summer. But they did put on some growth in fall. They're still out there. I might get somewhere. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll pop this down. This is just a potting mix. I bought it at my local garden center. It's one of my preferred ones. One, because it's pretty inexpensive compared to potting soils at like the big box stores. And I also like to support local and small when I can. All right, so I got that tag in there. If you have never winter sowed before, you're interested in winter sowing, it's something you're thinking about. Pretty much the idea is these little containers are going to be your greenhouse. So all of the heat from the sun during the day is going to store in the soil. And these things are just kind of going to germinate they would in nature. The plants will come up, the sun will come in, the water from whatever precipitation we get will come through the hole. And that's pretty much what they do. All right, so I labeled my container, I labeled my insert. That is my first one. And I'm just going to do 1 of the stock. Now, one of my biggest success stories from last year with the winter sowing was my calendula. Calendula absolutely loved it, and it rocked it in my garden up until a hard freeze. So I've got this year the flashback mix, which I did last year. I have an open pack here I'm going to use. And I also got the strawberry blonde, which I'm pretty excited for because those are really pretty, and I think they're going to look great in bouquets, and my daughter is going to love that. That's like perfect in her color profile for what she likes to make arrangements with. So I'm going to sow these ones rather heavy. I'm actually probably going to do 3 containers of the flashback and 3 of the strawberry. We'll see what we end up with. All right, so we're looking for 1/4 also for this one. I try not to put them too close to each other. This one I'm only going to do 5 because it's got pretty decent size last year, which is why I'm doing so many of these containers because I want a lot of calendula in my garden. I'm going to also do some calendula inside in a seed tray just to kind of try. And I'm also going to pop some into the garden beds because I have a lot of seeds. The seeds were pretty heavy last year. I'm gonna extra sew these. So this is my packet from last year, so I'm just kind of gonna put a little extra in there. Okay, cover that one up. And these are gonna be all my flashbacks. Okay, and some of these other ones I'm going to actually put into the beds that I am putting row covers on, which is pretty much the same thing as the winter sewing. So I'm going to make my tags, get those watered. And we have 3 containers of the flashback calendula. So that is all of our calendula, and we're good. Well, that's all of our flashback at least. We're going to start moving on to our strawberry blonde calendula. I only have the one pack. I only have the one pack of the strawberry blonde, so it's going to probably just get me what I need, and then I won't put any directly in the garden like I will the flashback, but that's okay. The seeds are really cool though. I don't know if you've ever grown calendula. Let me know in the comments. I would love to know if you've ever grown calendula and what you love about it, but I do like the way the seeds look. They're kind of cool. A little heavy on that. I should have probably gone lighter because this is a fresh pack. Should have a decent germination rate. And it looks like I'm going to make it to my 3, and I also have some extra to try under the row covers, so that's exciting. All right. I should have explained about my buckets. I cut them, if this is your first time ever seeing winter sewing, I cut them in half and then I put holes in the bottom. I don't use a knife to make my holes. I actually took a drill and made the holes because the first year I did it, I just slashed holes in it and they didn't drain properly, and we get quite a bit of moisture in the winter, quite a bit of rain actually in the winter. So I put bigger holes in there with a bigger drill bit, and that's just how I go about it. It takes a little extra time, it's a little extra work, but it's not that big of a deal to make sure I'm not drowning my seedlings, because the little slashes in the bottom that I tried to do the first year, I also tried cutting the corners. It wasn't doing it. My growing zone, for anyone who is not aware, I have mentioned it in the past, but just for anyone who's not aware, my growing zone is 6B. I am in West Virginia. We get snow, but really most of our snow is done by mid-February. Sometimes we'll get a snow in March, but we don't get a lot of snow here. It's one of the reasons why we chose this area. I am not a fan for snow. I mean, we do get it, but it's not like an insane amount of snow. I prefer those taller water jugs because these ones are a pain to tape, but I'm not gonna let a water jug go to waste, so. I'm gonna let tape go to waste because that tape was not working for me. All right, so that is all of our calendula. And the last one I'm going to do in this video, because I'm going to split this up a little bit, mostly for my records so I can go back and check things, is going to be the carnations. So I did the carnations inside. That was the first seed starting video I did inside. I saved some of each variety to try winter sowing because I've had the best success with winter sowing carnations. Every other carnation I've attempted to do has not succeeded indoors, but the ones I winter sowed did. So I'm going to try winter sowing these because I have a few extra seeds. In the same process, I'm just going to pop, 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 and put seeds in. This one is our Aurora. All of my Auroras haven't germinated inside, but some have started, and I'm pretty excited for that. I'm going to baby them, though, this year. I'm going to be putting them under a row cover, be treating them like little princesses, because I love carnations. I'm not doing a lot in the winter sowing. I'm just going to do a few, because I do have that massive tray inside. One carnation down. Those are our Auroras. I'm going to do the La France, same thing, just a couple in there. I have just enough of this one to sow these pretty thinly. Water. And ready to move. All right, so that's going to be where I'm going to end this very first video of our winter sowing, but I think we did pretty good. I have a lot of stuff going on over here. See what I got, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 containers of winter sowing done so far. We're going to be moving on to more winter sowing in the next video. I have some other fun stuff to talk about. And thank you so much for joining me today, and we will see you next time. Bye.